Hello everybody! So what is going on here? It's Windows 11 getting worse, or it has been bad all the time, but now they're like talking about like you cannot move the taskbar in Windows 11, which has been like that since Windows 11 was released. But you were able to do that in Windows 10 and all previous versions. And here we saw some tweet here, it got a lot of likes. Microsoft says it's too hard to move the taskbar and will never add the ability to. And they're getting a lot of comments here, but we can open the article. Explained why you can't move Windows 11 taskbar like Windows 10 according to Microsoft. So in Windows 10 you could put it up here, but in Windows 11 you're stuck with having it here. Ever since Windows 11 launched, one of the loudest complaints from long-time users has been the missing ability to move the taskbar. In Windows 10 you could move it to the top, left, or right of the screen. 4 years since its launch, Microsoft still hasn't given out a word about when or if a movable taskbar ever sees the light of day in Windows 11. However, based on Microsoft's explanation of why Windows 11 doesn't have an adjustable taskbar, it's safe to assume that the company isn't interested in pouring its engineering resources into pursuing something that won't benefit a majority of users. A few months after Windows 11 launched, Microsoft's engineering and product team posted videos to answer some design questions. Among other questions, they were directly asked why the taskbar could no longer be moved. A Windows product manager responded with a surprisingly candid explanation. Windows latest revised those videos again. Some have been unlisted, and we have some interesting details. And here is the next headline. Why can't we move the taskbar to the top and sides of the screen on Windows 11? The short answer is that the code required to move the taskbar to the top or sides isn't actually in Windows 11 because Microsoft created the new taskbar from the ground up and didn't use the own code from Windows 10. The question posed to the product managers in Windows during the AMA was, at some point, are we going to be able to move the taskbar to a different location on the screen in Windows 11? 𝗘𝗺𝗶𝗹, the then product manager working on the core Windows user experience, including the start menu, taskbar, and notifications, took up the question and talked about how building the taskbar from scratch meant that they had to cherry pick things to put into the feature list first, and the ability to move the taskbar didn't make the cut for several reasons that Microsoft values. The team knew that they had to fulfill the responsibilities to the billion Windows users who are already familiar with a particular set of features. So to cater to the maximum number of users at once, Microsoft applied a data-driven approach to find out which features to add now, which features to add later, and which to completely avoid. Unfortunately, for the enthusiast who had a left-aligned or vertical taskbar in Windows 10, you would have to settle for the fact that Microsoft's data shows such users are really small when compared to the number of users who are asking for other newer features in the taskbar. What's funny here is that in Microsoft's feedback hub, the feedback related to taskbar with the highest number of votes is the one that asked the company to bring back the ability to move the taskbar to the top and size of the screen on Windows 11. We are not sure which data Microsoft used to get to such a conclusion. And here we can see the screenshot. It has 24,000 upvotes. Bring back the ability to move the taskbar to the top and sides of the screen on Windows 11. Technical challenges of moving the taskbar. Microsoft's 𝗘𝗺𝗶𝗹 explained, when you think about having the taskbar on the right or the left, all of a sudden the reflow and the work that all of the apps have to do to be able to have a wonderful experience in those environments is just huge. What this essentially means is that when the taskbar sits at the bottom, Windows and third-party apps know exactly how much horizontal space they have to work with. Once you move it to the left or right, the math breaks. Apps then need to constantly reflow their layouts, resize content, adjust snapping behavior, and handle edge cases across different screen sizes, DPI settings, and multi-monitor setups. Also, this reflow logic has to work perfectly for legacy Win32 apps, modern UWP apps, and everything in between. Notably, Windows 10 could do the same thing without any visible issues, and that's probably because Windows 10 was a much lighter OS than Windows 11. And here we have a video where you can see that's how it worked in Windows 10. You could switch to the right and top, to the left, without any issues. Programs looked alright, even though you move them around. So it's strange that it doesn't work anymore in Windows 11, although it worked in Windows 10 and all previous versions of Windows. According to Microsoft, making all that behave consistently without vision glitches would require a large amount of engineering effort, and based on their internal data, the number of users who actively rely on a vertical or top-aligned taskbar is not large enough to justify the cost right now. What boggles me here is that it's not like people are changing their taskbar position every single day. As 𝗘𝗺𝗶𝗹, who was another product manager present in the AMA, mentions, taskbar is something that is actually very personal to your individual workflow, and sometimes you make changes and you find yourself working in a way that actually makes you better and more productive. So a reason like the apps having to go through a reflow is unjustified in my opinion, especially since people change their taskbar position to one that they like and just continue using it. This makes me believe that everyone at Microsoft sees taskbar repositioning as a high complexity feature with low impact, even if it remains one of the most requested ones among power users. And we can continue here. What Microsoft chose to prioritize instead of taskbar repositioning, Microsoft chose to focus on features that it says caused more pain for a large number of users. One of the biggest examples 𝗘𝗺𝗶𝗹 pointed to was drag and drop support on the taskbar. This was one of the most requested regressions from Windows 10, and Microsoft eventually brought it back after initially removing it in Windows 11. From Microsoft's perspective, restoring broken workflows ranked higher than adding back customization options used by fewer people. Another area Microsoft focused on was improving the taskbar experience on smaller screens and touch devices. According to Rolf, a lot of feedback came from users who felt the taskbar wasted space and didn't behave well on tablets and compact devices. This is how the ability of the taskbar to expand and contract on touch devices came to be. And here we can see some screenshots. What Microsoft is doing with the taskbar now. Ironically, Microsoft justified removing taskbar repositioning by saying it wanted to focus on features that benefit the majority of users. Yet, in recent updates, the company has been steadily pushing taskbar changes that many users actively dislike. Windows 11 taskbar is now being upgraded, in quotation marks, with AI-first features. Microsoft is working on the Ask Copilot bar, which may replace Windows search in the taskbar. You can see a screenshot here, with the Copilot, and you will ask that instead. More recently, Microsoft has started testing AI agents directly inside the taskbar, with Microsoft's goal of turning the taskbar into an AI hub. AI agent task progress on taskbar. You will have some AI thing here. The company is also working on using the Windows 11 taskbar to resume your Android activities. As expected, all this make the taskbar more complicated than ever, and the engineering hustle needed to make the taskbar be able to move to the sides or the top is next to impossible for a company so focused on making its users accustomed to AI. Yeah, so what I think it's a bit strange that they were able to have a movable taskbar in all previous versions of Windows, and now suddenly it's like impossible. They've had 4 years, as that article says, to implement that, but they haven't done it. And they're blaming it on it's so difficult with reflows and different sizes, but I don't really get like already today there are so many different screens, so it's not like you can assume like the user has a particular screen size. Like devices and screens come in all different variations and DPIs, and like if you have this taskbar, it's not gonna change anything. And already like with the taskbar at the bottom, you can choose to hide it or not. So like already there, like the height is changing of the screen height. And why not even like allow it to move to the top? It's just, then it would be the same taskbar. It's just on the top of the screen instead of the bottom. Like it's no difference. So it's weird that not even that is possible. But yeah, it seems like they are focusing on completely different things and don't care anymore about their power users. So instead, they are doing a lot of AI things, and as we have seen before, it seems like they're more vibe coding nowadays, and like rewriting the start menu as a React app, and everything takes like a performance hit. And it seems maybe like the competent developers they had in the past, maybe they're not there anymore. So with Windows 11, like I think it's clear that Microsoft has some different goal than what their power users are requesting. And I think for people who are mindful about their desktop and want it in a particular way, I think it's better to look at Linux. There you have more choice, and you have freedom to choose yourself, and it's always possible to like fork the desktop environments there. With Windows, it's impossible. So now Microsoft is going in one direction, but the users want to go in another direction. But we have no choice, but you just have to like continue to update to stay with all security patches, and you get all this coming along, what Microsoft changes. But with Linux, then you have the option and freedom to choose yourself what you like, and there is a much greater variety of different desktop environments with different looks and feel. So I think this is just one more thing that will make people want to move to Linux. And we saw here on X a lot of people jumping into this, and I think it's clear that people are a bit unhappy with the direction Microsoft is moving in, with more and more AI and less focus on what once made Windows a good operating system. But I think that's it for me today, and I hope you have a great day. And please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below if you have anything to add, and we will see each other another time. Bye bye.